Aloha, everybody. Let's see who's here. Let's wait a few minutes to see if people come on. Here's somebody. Aloha. Hey there. Good to see you, everybody. I'm not that versed technology-wise, so I hope I can read and speak at the same time. I'll do my best, but welcome, everybody. I'm glad you're here. And I wanted to do this live for two reasons, because I think this is a really potent and intense time on the planet. And I'd like to address this time and maybe bring some perspective and some solutions to how we can handle this time in the best way possible. Because as you know, we just are coming out of eclipse season, which wasn't easy. This was a very intense eclipse season, especially the last lunar eclipse at 5 degrees Taurus. Everybody felt that one. And we're not really out of it yet. We're still experiencing all that intensity and changes. And I have so many people reaching out to me saying, when is this going to stop? And I don't really have a date to give anybody, because we're just stepping into the new moon in Scorpio tonight, actually tomorrow early morning. And this new moon is not promising any quiet time soon. It's again bringing another month of major transformations and major deep healing work. So I'd like to address all those issues and intensities and see how we can resonate with what's going on and how we can find solutions and to kind of quiet ourselves from within. Aloha Australia, aloha Sweden. Wow, so many people from so many places. You know, that is the one thing that I'm so blessed to have such a great community from all over the world. Yucatan, hello Yucatan. And I couldn't have dreamed about reaching out to so many people from so many different places in the world and be in communication with so many cultures and so many ideas of other people's. This is amazing, and this is good. Aloha Napa Valley. And this is great for us that we can see that community is not place-based, but rather like-minded people, no matter where we are situated in the world. And I think this is South Africa, Panama, Texas, Switzerland. Aloha, thank you for joining. I think this is our power as a community, because we can take what we believe in, we can take our strength and our thoughts, and we can disperse all those thoughts and bring that energy to wherever we live. And that's why we're stronger together. That's why a community has more power. So I'm glad everybody is joining. Hollywood, Netherlands, Scotland, UK, aloha people. So nice of you to join. Thank you. So a few things before we delve into two major things that I want to speak about today. One is the Scorpio new moon, and the second one is the Mars Kazimi sun, which is another strong influence that we're all going to experience in this month. First thing first is that I'm having a new beginner's course. This is my second beginner's course. I just finished one in October. It was a great success. It was lovely to teach beginners. I used to teach only astrologers or advanced or intense astrology, but now I'm teaching beginners as well. And I love that because it's going down to the basic and creating a platform where people can understand this beautiful language. And astrology is really a language about self-awareness. That's what it is. And we get to come into this world with some instructions, right? This is our birth chart. And if we know how to read our birth chart, we get a deeper understanding to the dynamics, the psychological dynamics that are active in our life. And so I invite you to look at my Instagram or my website, astrologydome.com. And if you are interested in signing up to my course, I invite you to sign up. It's starting next Saturday on November 18th. And of course, All the live classes will be recorded and will be sent to you, so you would have them forever. And of course, the PDFs and all that would be sent to you. And you'll be also joining, I'll invite you to join my private study group on Facebook, where you can ask me any question you want along the time of the course, and I will answer. And so it's a really hands-on experience to learn more about yourself, and of course to learn more about your friends, your family, because you'll be able to read charts as you go along, and you'll learn. But by the time the course ends, you'll know how to read a basic chart and make sense out of it. So that's that. The other thing that I want to address, and I want to open with that, is the new moon we're going to have tonight in Scorpio. And here's the chart. I hope you can see that. The new moon will take place at 1:27 a.m. Pacific time, because they changed the clock. So check where is it in your area, but it doesn't really matter. I made this chart for Los Angeles, and what matters is that the sun and the moon would be at 20 degrees Scorpio in 44 minutes. Now, I'd like you to pay attention to where that degree lands in your chart, because it's going to make a big impact. You know, a new moon is a new beginning, right? It's when the sun and the moon meet again, and they start a whole new cycle that takes about 28, 29 days. And this new beginning brings a surge of a certain energy. Each time it's in a different sign. This time it's in Scorpio. Now, Scorpio is the deepest of the signs that we have in the zodiac. And Scorpio's main interest is to dig deep into deeper truth and excavate what is hidden in the murky waters of our subconscious. Scorpio is that sign that is the natural psychologist of the zodiac, I like to say. They walk upon the earth with those antennas. They're so sensitive. They know what people tell them, but they also know what the subtext is, what people don't say. They're like detectives, right? So it's a very, very sensitive, deep sign, because it is interested in the desires, the deep desires of us as humans, of our souls. Why are we here? What are we doing here? What am I desiring to do, and why? The question why is Pluto's question. Pluto is the ruler of Scorpio. Now, Scorpio had a traditional ruler before, which was Mars, but the modern ruler is Pluto. So both feel very good in Scorpio, and Mars is in Scorpio right now, which gives this new moon an extra intensity, because Mars is in its domicile. It feels very good in Scorpio. Actually, it's very laser sharp in Scorpio. It wants to excavate something really deep and go for it. Mars is so determined in Scorpio, it is ruthless, or can be ruthless. But first thing first, let's talk about the new moon. So this new moon is when the sun and the moon meet, and they are in Scorpio. So they want to say something like, let's excavate something about your emotional, psychological dynamic. See what's not working, what is still in your subconscious house, what are the skeletons that you don't want to deal with because it's very uncomfortable. We don't like to deal with our skeletons, with our fears, with our inabilities, with our not good enough patterns. We don't like that. This is forbidden territory, with taboos, with some kind of mental construct that we keep running in our head, and we know that they're not positive for ourselves. So Scorpio comes and says, let me give you a whole month, a new energy, so you can excavate what needs to be healed, because Scorpio, despite or actually due to its ability to dive deep into the darkness, is the greatest healer, right? How do we heal? We don't heal by being nice and just running in the fields with some unicorns and rainbows. That would be an amazing scenario, but that's not how it goes. We heal when we meet our shadow, when we meet those parts of ourselves that we're not in alignment with ourselves or with our highest good or with other people's highest good. That's when we meet our darkest places where we're afraid to be courageous. This is how we heal. And this is a very uncomfortable situation and place to be. And you probably have been there, right? Each and every one of us has some dark places that we don't want to attend to, things we're really afraid of. So let's unpack that a little bit, because what are those shadows, dark places? You know, it's right here. We can say, oh, I'm afraid of the dark. I'm afraid to be courageous. I'm afraid to ask someone out. I'm afraid to go to work. I'm afraid to be independent. Whatever it is for you. This is a fear that you know about, but what's underneath that fear? What is the root of it? This is the Scorpio domain, Pluto's domain. What's underneath? Why are you afraid? Why are you running that program? Because of something, conditioning that happened to you in childhood. That's how usually we create programs, because until the age of about 14 years old, we can't separate between ourselves to others. We don't know how to do that. We're not being taught how to do the separation and become independent at such a young age. And so it takes us time to understand that everything we have been hearing in the home we were born into, in the people we met along our life, younger life, that those are programs that we adopt as if those were ourselves. Some of those programs were successful. Some of them were very, very painful. And we just didn't know that this is not what defined us. And we took upon ourselves those programs, and we believe that this is ourselves. This is true for us. The thing is, even when we grow up, we need to, in order to see that those programs are not our soul, are not our powers, are not our abilities, we need to individuate. It's called an individuation process. We need to individuate ourselves from those programs and realize that they're not working. So in the beginning, we will relive those programs. And so those programs will be repeated again and again until we can get out of them. And this moon, this new moon, is an explosive new moon. I see somebody saying, you said explosive. This was my Saturday. Yeah, let me explain why. Because when we have the sun and moon and Mars together in Scorpio, especially opposing Uranus, do you see this opposition? This is very explosive terrain. And this is coming to all of us to excavate those programs that are not working for us. So we're going to see them in real time, live, in our life, in probably not the most comfortable way. Because this is how we are coded. We human are coded. We have to see the friction live in order to understand how we participate in this dynamic. I will repeat this again. This new moon is an opportunity, a real opportunity for deep healing. But again, in order to see what we need to heal, we have to see the pattern. And the only way we see the pattern is through participating in this pattern. And this new moon will bring us an opportunity to see one of the hardest and most painful patterns in our life. Very uncomfortable. The thing is, Uranus never promised us comfort or ease. Uranus promised us the ability to have an epiphany, a real enlightenment, a real understanding of what's going on. What is this dynamic about? What is this play? Why am I here again? Because I bet that the problems, the issues, that the narrative that you're running into right now has been played out before. You have been participating with that before in those dynamics, and you know that this is a repetitive pattern. And so this time around, you're getting an opportunity to ask yourself, why? And everybody here on this call, you are here on this call because you want to understand why. Because only through understanding why we're repeating a pattern, we can get out of it. Unless we understand that, we'll keep repeating it, as painful as it is. And trust me, I've had my own patterns. The world doesn't have mercy on us, right? We have to play that game, and we have to dive into that pool, and we have to learn to swim. There's no one that can do that for us. But we do have a helper. So let's go back. I will retract. I have felt this coming for the past 5-7 months. Yeah, of course, because thank you for that remark. Because nothing happens in a vacuum. Also in astrology, if you know astrology, you see how the cosmos or the universe or the stars are setting us up, one thing after the other. It's like a dance. It's amazing. This language is just mind-boggling. Sometimes I sit and I say, how is it possible that everything is so perfectly being built? So we have been going through 18 months of eclipses in the axis of Scorpio and Taurus. Now, this is the axis. Scorpio is the transformation, rebirth, cleaning up the old, letting go of things that are not working, healing the shadow, healing ourselves. Taurus is that place of ourselves where we build sustainability, where we realize that what are our gifts, what are our strengths, how can we create more sustainability, how can we feel stable. What does Taurus want? It wants stability, it wants to have the good life, it wants to have just peace and serenity and feel secure. This is what we all want. But Uranus is transiting Taurus. Uranus is anything but security. So it kind of bring an immense change to the Taurus part of our life. And we had for 18 months eclipses in that tandem, that axis. And we always run in axes because we live in a 3D world that has contrast, plus minus, yin yang. And so male, female, we have to do that dance between those two contrasts. And so this 18 months have been preparing us to see the Scorpio part, the shadow part, and the sustainability part, the Taurus part. And we all have been invited to do some major healing, Scorpio, and create more stability, Taurus. Now, in last July, the nodes have shifted into the Aries and Libra position axis. And so this is the axis of relationship. So for the next 18 months, what are we going to deal with? Relationships. What kind of relationship? First of all, the relationship of what we have with ourselves. This is the Aries part, right? Who am I? What is my identity? What is my truth? That is the one thing that we're all dealing with. What is my truth? What is not negotiable that I have to say? The Libra part is, how do I stop walking on eggshells? Being afraid of other people, being afraid to upset other people, being in a codependence relationship, creating relationships that are trauma-based and not real relationship, not real vulnerable, real connection. So we all are going to deal with those kind of ideas and issues. And so the last eclipse in Taurus, 5 degrees Taurus, we just had in October, was the last eclipse in the tandem Scorpio-Taurus. And from now on, we're only going to have eclipses in the tandem Aries and Libra in order to work on those relationships. However, we're going to have today a new moon in Scorpio. And this new moon is promising us a repeat, yet a closure and a crack, a new beginning of something new, something that we are graduating from and allowing ourselves to show up in a new way. And you know it. You're not the same person you were a year and a half ago. You're not. I'm not that person. You're not. You're a different version of yourself. But still, there is so much to work on still, right? We're always a work in progress. We're never really done. I'm just going to move this message from here. So somebody's saying, thank goodness. Yeah, I'm saying thank goodness as well. The thing is, the intensity is still here. We're not free from that intensity, unfortunately. And it's not easy to be in an intense situation. Nobody likes it. I don't like it. Nobody likes it. And we see around us in the world what's going on. So I want to address that upheaval that we see in the world just for a minute. I'm not a political person. I don't take sides because I believe we all, in the bottom of our heart, want peace. But that intensity, it's that Pluto moving into Capricorn in January. So whenever Pluto changes signs, which happens every 20, 24 years, so not to be taken lightly, this is going into Aquarius. It's a big, big change from Pluto in Capricorn. And Pluto in Capricorn, especially moving through the last degrees, is showing us what is not working in our society. And we see it. We see a lot of structures that are failing. So first, every time Pluto moves to a different sign, it has to show us the underbelly, what's not working and what we need to work on. So that is the part of that upheaval. However, the personal intensity that we see with this new moon and allows us to see that some things have not resolved themselves yet. And the Mars-Uranus opposition of this new moon will take place somewhere in your chart. Where is it in your chart? Please locate 20 degrees of Scorpio in your chart. This is where the new moon is taking place. It is taking place somewhere in one of your houses, right? So if it's in the first house, it's all about your identity. Second house, it's about your self-worth. Money. Third house, communication. Fourth house, something to do with your family. Fifth house, your kids, love life, creativity. Sixth house, your everyday routine. Maybe you need to change your routine, work situation. Seventh house, your one-on-one relationship, committed relationship. Eighth house, big emotional transformation. Ninth house, ideas. Maybe you're stuck somewhere and your ideas need to shift something. 10th house, your career, what you want. 11th house, the community you belong to. Who is your tribe? 12th house. Something in your subconscious programming you need to be aware of and let go. Basically, somebody's asking how to find it. Please print the chart and look at the number of your houses and where Scorpio is in your chart. This is where this new moon is taking place. But regardless where it is in your chart, obviously it is really important. That's why it's so important to follow your chart, because this will always give you a deeper sense and an opportunity to know what the issues you're working on, because the house that hosts the new moon is always that new beginning place for you for that month. So issues related to that house will be highlighted for you, right? So it's if let's say Scorpio is in your fourth house, so issues of family will be highlighted for you, and you'll get a new opportunity to create something new in this terrain of your family. Does that make sense? This is where we bring astrology into our daily life and we use it as a tool, because it's just an amazing self-awareness tool. We don't have to be we can open the blinds, right? We get a bigger view or a deeper view into who we are and what we're dealing with. But for all of us, the effect of this conjunction is saying something, embrace your vulnerability, accept your rawness in that place, and start exploring what can you do in a different way. The thing with Mars tends to bring friction. Mars is that warrior, it's that combat, it's that male archetype within ourselves. And in Scorpio, Mars can be relentless. It is laser focused. It wants to get what it desires. And especially across from Uranus, being in opposition with Uranus, Mars says, let's break something. Let's create upheaval. Let's create a crisis, Scorpio, let's create a crisis. And then through that crisis, we'll be able to see what needs to change. It depends on our level of awareness. How much crisis do we really need? The less aware we are, the more crisis we experience. The more aware we are and we see this coming, this transit, we realize that maybe we should open up a conversation and we should initiate this conversation about some anger, Mars, that is residing underneath the surface, Mars in Scorpio, right? Anger underneath the surface that we have been building up in regards to a certain situation in our life. And I bet each and every one of you has some anger in regards to a certain situation that you were not able to resolve or speak freely about. So I invite you to first figure out what it is for you. What are you frustrated about? What is this thing that you've been building up, and it's really, really frustrating, and you really want to change it? You already know what it is. It's somewhere there. And we all are dealing with frustration and anger right now. There is not one person on the planet that is not dealing with that. These are the energies. However, the universe doesn't play with us. It's not like we're puppets. If we understand that we're dealing with something that has been repressed, anger is a repression of emotions, undigested emotions, something we did not resolve within ourselves. Anger is an emotion that we experience when we are not clear with what we want, or we are not clear how to say that and bring those results. Then we're angry at ourselves, and usually we bring somebody else to the picture to blame them, right? It's the easiest way. Let's blame these people. They would be responsible for our anger. Anger is first of all within ourselves. So everything we see outside of ourselves, we can address it within ourselves in order to resolve it. This is the first awareness stage, right? So the more aware we are to what's going on in our life and why things are showing up, and if we constantly replaying a certain narrative that keeps reappearing, it's worth investigating. And this is this invitation of this new moon in Scorpio. Let's heal that deep layer within yourself so it does not have to repeat and replay itself out there. Does that make sense? I think it does. If we own our part, it already changes the whole situation with somebody else. If you try it, you know it. So, one more thing I want to add about this new moon. So I did speak about the Mars. Oh, yeah. Which leads me to the Mars Kazimi. You know, every year, let me just move this. Every year, Mars, sorry about that, too many messages. Every year, Mars meets the Sun to start a new cycle. Each one of the planets meets the Sun to start a new cycle. The thing is, each planet has their own cadence. So Mercury meets the Sun 6 to 8 times a year because it's a very fast-moving planet. Venus meets the Sun every 9 months or so. Mars meets the Sun every 2 years or so. So every 2 years, we get a new beginning between Mars and the Sun. And since Mars is that agency part of ourselves, it's the drive, it's the conqueror, it's where our Venus says to Mars, Mars, I want you to go and get that. And our Mars goes and gets. It's that active getting, active taking things for ourselves, things that we need. Of course, it is related to our survival, but it is also a part of our psychological makeup and structure, so we can be procreative and proactive and go get what we need. So a Mars Kazimi is when Mars meets the Sun, and it's a moment in time when they both start a new cycle. So it is if Mars says to the Sun, hello, Sun, I came to get some light from you. And each time it happens in a different sign. So this time, Mars meets the Sun in Scorpio on November 17. Here is Mars Kazimi to the Sun in Scorpio on October 17. Here is Mars and the Sun at 25 degrees Scorpio. And this is a new beginning for a 2-year cycle. So Mars says to the Sun, to the sun, sun, can you give me some of your light so I can become that strong warrior, and I'm going to get what you want and what you need to become, whoever you want to become next. And the sun says to Mars, sure, Mars, here you go, take my sun and my light in the sign of Scorpio. For the next 2 years, we're going to feel that. We're going to feel that vibe. It's a backdrop story that's going to be there for the next 2 years. So what does the sun in Scorpio says to Mars? You go and be a warrior. But the thing is, you can be a warrior for the destructive part. Scorpio does have a shadow, dark, destructive part. Or you can be a warrior for good, for the healing part of Scorpio, for excavating all that darkness, all that murky terrain of Scorpio, all the shadows, the skeletons, the fear, the out of control situation, bringing it up and cleaning it, clearing it, healing it to the highest degree, being like the Sphinx, being like the Phoenix, right? Rising from the ashes and creating that beautiful male archetype warrior, a martial art warrior. Mars in Scorpio can be that beautiful martial art warrior that knows their power but doesn't have to use power to control others, to have others be submissive, because it knows its power. And when you know your power, and when I know my power, we can be walking our talk, we can be leaders from a peaceful place because we know our power. When do we need to be aggressive? When we don't know our power. When we feel that we have to oppress others or that we have to be in control of others. We don't really have to when we own our power. But in order to become powerful and be that peaceful warrior, we have to integrate our shadow. There's no other way. Because as long as we oppress some of our parts and we say, I'm not going to deal with those parts, they're not mine, I'm going to deny them, they would pop up in friction against other people's, in judgments, in putting ourselves down, in creating crisis, in relationship, putting other people down. So, it's no choice now. Or actually, it's a fork in the road saying, you want to use this Kazimi, Mars-Sun relationship, new beginning for your own personal power? Go ahead. Which road are you going to choose? Being in denial of your power, resorting to old patterns of friction and oppression and out of control? Or do you want to deal with your own shadows and issues and integrate and become that powerful leader? You're not here by a mistake. These are unprecedented times on our planet. Your soul was brave enough to come here at this time. This is no picnic in the park. This is a tough situation where we all are facing a lot of karmic residue as a collective and as individuals. And so if you were brave enough to come here, you are brave enough to do the work. You are brave enough to heal yourself. You're brave enough to contribute to the greater good of all and decide how you're going to support that community, how you're going to support us as one, because we are all interconnected. We can tell ourselves this story that if we live here and other people live in the other side of the globe, we are not connected. This is not true. We are all connected. We breathe the same air and we drink the same water. And we have the same needs. Each and every one of us wants the same thing. A good, quiet life, peace, some good food, good company, good relationship, and enough sustainability to our life. That's it. That's what we want. And to continue this beautiful journey of human evolution and develop to the next level of ourselves and the planet. So if we take our responsibility to heal ourselves, to become the warrior for good, to heal that part of ourselves that we kept repressing there under the rug, hoping that in the back of our head, in the subconscious department, we're not going to deal with it. It's not going to go. it's not going to go. It's time to take responsibility. And I think this is the message of these times, especially this new moon in Scorpio is giving us this platform, this ability to tap into our darkest part, heal it, and come out on the other side more independent, stronger, more truthful with ourselves, more vulnerable. When I say personal power, I don't mean that we have to be a controlling, powerful person. I mean that personal power is about speaking your truth, but in a vulnerable way, and being open to a discussion with others, because we all have different points of views, and we can express those views, but there's no need to be violent about it or fight about it. The more we listen, the more we allow ourselves to investigate our points of view. It's a reciprocal, I don't know how to say that word. It's a reciprocal ability to listen and exchange ideas and be open to change, because actually the only thing that is constant on our planet and in our life is change. So Uranus is playing that change agent, constantly asking us to change, because without change we have stagnation. None of us like stagnation. That's where the shadow keeps creeping in and having a party. It's where you're stagnant. If you bring fresh air and some light to those places, then there'll be no stagnation. So I think we can all do that. And somebody's writing, Scorpio can be so snappy. How do you tone it down? Awareness. It's about awareness. How do you tone yourself down? When you want to lash out, when you're angry, right? It's about anger. And this new moon and Mars Kazimi, it's all about anger, tapping into that container of anger that we all have. We all have anger within ourselves. Don't kid yourself that you don't have anger. Maybe you're passive aggressive, so you shut down the anger somewhere down at the bottom, but we all are having our anger issues. And again, anger is only a result of something that you did not resolve for yourself, and you are frustrated about something. It is relating to yourself first. You were out of control, somebody oppressed you, you were too weak, you're mad at yourself for not speaking your truth. Whatever the issue is, this is where anger resides, and it brews. Anger has this ability to brew and bubble up until it comes up to here, and we're lashing out. And that is the fear of this Scorpio. Anger, of course, because Scorpio can be so vindictive, right? It can be a crazy sign because it has immense power. That's the thing. So awareness, it's always awareness. It's always being more aware to ourselves. And now there are so many healing modalities, thank goodness, on the planet, right? So many beautiful healing modalities that have come out in the past 10 years. And a lot of it has to do with the body, because our body is a great mirror for ourselves. So sometimes I would wake up and my shoulders are tense, or my sciatic nerve is acting up, and I would ask myself, what's happening? And it's usually something emotional that is happening as well. But I would shake my body. I would go and do some yoga or any kind of exercise. I would walk outside. Move it through your body. Move it. Move the anger. The anger lives in our etheric body and in our physical body. We are not separated. We are a whole systematic being. We are mental, emotional, and physical beings. And so this needs to be addressed together, not just as parts. If we address all our system, we eat good, we drink water, we sleep good, we address our psychological issues. Yes, go to therapy. Any kind of therapy you find good, go for it. Help yourself to help yourself, right? Nobody else is going to do it. Do stuff for your body. Take vitamins. It's a system. It's a holistic system. We're not separated. So do all that. This is how to deal with your anger. And if you have anger management issues, go and seek anger management therapy. It's as simple as that. We don't have to think too much. We have this problem. Let's go and seek an issue. Let's go and seek a therapy for that. it's on us to heal ourselves. I'm going to stop here and see what I didn't cover and what I still want to cover. Yeah, so I wrote, beware of anger, losing your temper, recklessness, right? Scorpio, and especially Mars in Scorpio, opposite Uranus, recklessness, and engaging in conflict. I think I did cover that. Lean into clarify your sense of agency. I think I did touch that a little bit, because if we're not clear about what we want, this is a very important part, because sometimes we're not clear. We're in a fog. We're leaning into some old programs and we don't know what we want and we don't know what to do. Fair enough. This can happen all the time. So ask for clarity. How simple is that? Every day, write down a sentence. Good morning, universe. I'm asking for clarity. What do I need to know now? Trust the universe. It will provide you with the answers. Maybe you should add, when you ask for clarity, maybe you should add, please do it in a gentle way, right? We don't want friction and crisis. So ask for clarity. I keep doing it all the time when I'm not clear, and sometimes we are. Align your actions with your core values. A lot of people don't know what their core values are. We're not being taught in school what our core values are. Sometimes I like to go and I'm just searching core values, and you will be surprised how many core values you can get. List and list of core values on the internet. Just read through them. There are hundreds of values, and maybe make a point to write down your 5 core values, whether it is freedom, creativity, love, relationship, kids, family, achievement, whatever your core values are. Write a list of them. At least you'll get clarity what it is that you want and why you do the things you do. Clarity is a winner. Again and again, clarity is a winner. Yes, somebody is asking, will this be saved? Yes, I will save this session and it will be posted on my Instagram feed, of course. Use physical exercise to move the energy in your body, 100%. Yes. Develop healthy conflict resolution. This is a skill that I would wish we would learn in school. Healthy conflict resolution. Yeah, right? We would probably be in a different place. You know, I want to tell you a little story. The other day, my husband and I were invited for a tea ceremony. It was in the morning at some friend's house. And it took maybe 45 minutes, and it was in silence. And she poured the tea, and she did a whole beautiful, I think it was Taiwanese tea ceremony. Beautiful, beautiful ceremony. And what it did, it created a container, a space where after the tea ceremony ended, we could all communicate in a very vulnerable, beautiful, quiet way. I wish we would learn this in school, how to create a container so we can all communicate in this beautiful way without friction. But we live in a world that is so full of friction and so full of anger and competition and hate and righteousness and whatever that is. And we don't know how to create that place of a beautiful ceremony to help us come into the day in a beautiful way. Even just a 15-second thought of meditation when you wake up, when you brush your teeth, you look at yourself in the mirror and you say, I love you. You're great. This is going to be a great day for you. Even that initiation to the day can make a huge difference in your life. So how do you start your day? Maybe pay attention to that. Maybe that will create the shift that you're seeking. Recognize the root of your psychological patterns. I think we've addressed that, and especially with this new moon in Scorpio, I think this is really important, especially with the Mars Kazimi coming up on November 17th. This is really important. You're starting a whole new cycle for yourself, and that Mars Kazimi at 25 degrees Scorpio is going to happen at a certain house, right? In Scorpio, in your chart. Where is it? Does it create any aspects to your personal planets? And if yes, pay attention to those aspects, because that will tell you a lot about what you want to achieve personally in this next 2 years and maybe how to go about it. pay attention, read all the symbolism, clear them up, create a clear construct of what that symbolism is. And suddenly your whole life will shift into bringing you more opportunities. That's the thing with life. If you're clear and you are more or less clear, we're never really clear, right? But if you're more or less clear about your short-term goals, this could be short-term as next month or tomorrow, longer term or mid-term goals, 6 months, a year, longer term goals, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, where are you going to be? Where you want to see yourself? Because that Mars Sun Kazimi is going to be pumping up your agency, your drive. So what are you driven to do? And if you don't know, ask yourself, how do I want to feel next month, in 3 months, in 6 months, in a year? How do you want to feel? That's clarity enough to start on a journey towards that feeling. And the rest, the actual detailed plan will come along, but at least you define the feeling, right? I want to feel good. I want to feel clear. I want to feel healthy. I want to feel peace. I want to feel loved. I want to feel strong, whatever it is. So this will be an amazing opportunity to do that. What else? Get out of your comfort zone. Yeah. These times right now on the planet is anything but a comfort zone. We are all have been pushed out of our comfort zone even before the pandemic. This had started before the pandemic, but definitely COVID had shifted all of us. And since COVID, nothing is really comforting. It's right. It's escalating and getting more and more intense. So we're not in a comfort zone, and we keep being pushed into, again, not being in a comfort zone, but this is the only way to affect change. So don't see it as your enemy. Embrace the change and see the benefits. Constantly see the benefit. Somebody is asking, where can we rewatch this live? On my wall. I'm going to post this after we're done. It's going to be on my Instagram, on my page. You can rewatch this again and again. Go into the dark and liberate yourself. Yeah, not easy. We're all doing it all the time, right? Yeah, it's not easy. You're going to, it's a wild ride. You're going to move some mountains, explosive disruptions, profound, brilliant awakening. Renew the senses of your inner work. Yeah, it's all about that. You know that it's explosive. You know that nothing is really stable right now. You know that you want to move mountains. You want to create an immense change in your life and in the collective life. I bet. Otherwise, you wouldn't be in this on this channel, on this live, because you are awakened, you are alive, you are aware. So otherwise you wouldn't be here. So with all that need to create that change starts with us, just the way it is. Somebody's asking any help for Scorpio, any advice for Scorpio people. Look, Scorpio people, I want to talk about that. Thank you for that remark. All the Scorpio people, and especially you people that have Pluto in Scorpio, you're a whole generation that have Pluto in Scorpio that is coming to the forefront and taking leadership positions in our collective right now. Kudos to you. To come with Pluto in Scorpio is not an easy dive. No, it's not. You are coming to excavate and take upon yourself to excavate and bring up to the surface the collective shadow, the dark collective shadow. Not easy. But you are powerful healers that came here for a purpose, to purge that darkness and heal it and bring it into the highest vibration of healing and allow those new healing modalities to come out and be a part of the collective for the next generations to come. Does that make sense? I bet it is. The thing is, you took upon yourself a pretty tough lifetime where you're going to experience difficult situations in your upbringing. immense amount of pain sometime in order to know what it is. So you are brave souls. Thank you for coming. It's not easy to deal with that amount of pain, but you're doing it. You're doing it. I see you. I see you. You're all over my Instagram. You're coming to my readings. You're coming to my astrology courses. Thank you. Thank you for coming, because you're able to handle it. You don't come here without the goods and the abilities and the capabilities to thrive. You come here with the pain, with those mental construct, emotional, psychological dynamics that needs those healing, but you have the power to not just figure it out, to thrive and to create new modalities, new abilities for everyone to follow you. You are leaders. And so you need to own your power first, but you are leaders on this planet, and you're coming, your generation is coming to the forefront of being leaders. And I want to encourage you, and I want to say thank you that you are here to do the work. And the rest, the next generations would come and will follow and take your work of healing and expand it to so many new modalities and abilities that we can't even imagine. Pluto in Aquarius would bring so many new modalities of healing, light modalities, sound modalities. We see the beginning, right? But it's going to expand, and we're going to expand our longevity and our well-being and our integration capabilities through your generation. The thing is, will we choose to polarize? Scorpio can polarize us, right? War or peace. War, Scorpio, Mars in Scorpio can be, or Pluto in Scorpio. War, let's be in conflict and bring more shadow, more pain. Or peace within the self, integration and healing, and let's bring the highest awareness. Don't forget, Scorpio brings the highest and deepest awareness to the planet. So this is a superpower you have. You just have to own it. So, whoa, I think, wow, I spoke for quite a while. Let me just move away these messages here. And I know I'm not that great speaking and reading at the same time. So maybe I did not address some of the questions that you had. What I suggested we'll do, because our time is almost up, I suggest that I'll post this on my Instagram wall, and if you have questions, please post them in the comments, and I will answer. Definitely, I will answer. It will just be more comfortable for me, and I could be more zooming into your questions and your need. In any event, thank you so much for being my tribe. I have found you and you have found me, and I love each and every one of you. You know, you make me who I am, and hopefully I can contribute to your life in the same way you contribute to mine. So I'm forever grateful to you. And yeah, I think we'll end in that. Please set your intentions to this new moon. It's time to set your intentions, and be gentle, be compassionate with yourself. Ask for clarity, ask for healing, ask to take your power back from wherever you gave it. Bring it back, bring those energy lines back to yourself. Love yourself, respect yourself. You are so worthy, you're so amazing. You came here for a reason, you have a beautiful soul. And I wish you all the best, a lot of love, healing, and peace. Thank you. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye. I'm not sure how to end this well. I'll do my best.